Welcome to Dark Truth. They told us the moon is just a rock, a dead world orbiting Earth. But what if everything you've been taught about it was a lie? What if the moon isn't natural at all, but something built, something watching us? Welcome to Dark Truth, the channel where hidden facts meet forbidden questions. Before we begin this journey, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because what you're about to discover may change everything you thought you knew about the night sky. The moon is not what you think. NASA's hidden truth. Chapter 1. The moon that shouldn't exist. For as long as we've looked up at the night sky, the moon has been our silent companion, watching, glowing, guiding. But what if I told you it's not what you think it is? Modern science tells us the moon formed when a massive object collided with Earth billions of years ago. But that theory, like many others, has cracks. Because when you look closely, the moon shouldn't exist at all. Its size, its orbit, its distance from Earth, all align too perfectly. It's exactly the right size to cause total solar eclipses, perfectly covering the sun from our perspective. Statistically, that's nearly impossible, almost as if it was placed there on purpose. Ancient texts from around the world hint that the moon hasn't always been there. The Mayans, the Zulu of Africa, the ancient Greeks all describe a time when there was no moon in the sky. The Zulu legends even call that age the era before the moon. So if it wasn't always there, then where did it come from? NASA's data reveals another strange detail. The moon is almost exactly circular in orbit. That's rare, extremely rare for a natural satellite. It doesn't wobble or drift like other moons. It's locked perfectly, tidally synchronized. Some scientists call it mathematically miraculous. Others whisper it's engineered. In 1970, Soviet scientists Mikhail Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov published a theory. They called the moon an artificial satellite, a shell constructed by an advanced civilization, possibly to monitor Earth or even protect it. They noted how the moon's crust is oddly thin, while its density is lower than expected for its size, suggesting it's hollow, or at least not fully solid. If that's true, then the moon might not be a natural body at all. It could be a ship, an ancient outpost, a machine in disguise. Every night, billions of people fall asleep under its light, never questioning what it truly is. But maybe it's been watching us longer than we've existed. And perhaps that's the reason it's so silent. Because the moon's greatest secret is that it was never meant to be found. Chapter 2. The Hollow Moon Theory. The deeper scientists looked into the moon, the stranger it became. Every test, every mission brought back results that made no sense. When NASA's Apollo 12 mission ended in 1969, astronauts deliberately crashed part of their spacecraft onto the moon's surface to test seismic vibrations. What happened next stunned mission control. The moon rang like a bell for nearly an hour. The same test was done again years later, during Apollo 13, and the vibrations lasted even longer. A solid rock planet shouldn't do that. Only a hollow or metallic structure could create such a sound. NASA tried to explain it away, calling it seismic reverberation. But many insiders didn't buy it. To them, it was evidence of something much bigger and much older. Dr. Gordon MacDonald, a NASA scientist in the 1960s, wrote something few were brave enough to repeat. He said, "It would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere." Hollow, artificial, engineered. The moon's density, another mystery. It's far too light for its size. Every measurement suggests the interior is less dense than the outer layers, as if the crust is reinforced while the core is empty. But maybe that's not emptiness. Maybe it's a chamber. Some theorists believe the moon is a shell, a massive, ancient craft with walls made of titanium and iron compounds far stronger than natural rock. In fact, titanium, one of the strongest metals known, is unusually abundant in lunar samples, far more than on Earth. Why would a natural satellite have industrial-level metals inside it? In 1976, Don Wilson published Our Mysterious Spaceship Moon, claiming the evidence pointed toward intelligent construction, that the moon was brought here, placed into orbit like a monitoring station. And here's where it gets darker. In 2009, NASA's Lacrosse mission slammed a probe into a lunar crater to study what was beneath the surface. But something went wrong. The impact showed less debris than expected, as if there was an internal layer absorbing the shock. After that, the data was quietly archived and never discussed again. Why? Because the hollow moon theory, if true, changes everything. It means the moon is not part of Earth's history, but part of someone else's plan. A plan written in stone, orbiting above us, disguised as a natural wonder. Maybe it's been here long before humans. A relic, an observation post, or the last remnant of a civilization that no longer exists. Every time we look at the moon, we see beauty, light, and peace. But maybe that's the illusion. Maybe beneath its surface, something ancient sleeps. Chapter 3. Apollo's Secret Transmission. It was July 20th, 1969. The world was watching. Millions of people holding their breath as Neil Armstrong took that historic step. But few know that during those first moments on the moon, the live feed suddenly cut out. NASA called it a technical glitch, but insiders later claimed it was something else entirely. According to leaked transcripts and retired NASA personnel, what the astronauts saw that day was not what the public was told. For nearly 2 minutes, Armstrong and Aldrin switched to a private medical channel, one not broadcast to the world. What they said next, if the records are real, would rewrite history. They're here. They're standing on the edge of the crater. They're watching us. Mission control went silent. Then static. When the transmission returned, everything sounded normal. The world saw calm, brave astronauts exploring a barren landscape. But what if that wasn't the full story? NASA archived the official footage, but technicians and amateur radio operators claim they intercepted that secret feed. A ghostly voice crackling through static, describing lights and structures on the lunar horizon. Years later, retired NASA communications engineer Otto Binder revealed something chilling. He said an unnamed source inside NASA confirmed those missing 2 minutes were real and deliberately covered up. Armstrong, in later interviews, seemed distant when asked about the moon. He spoke in riddles. He once said, "There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers." What truth was he protecting? Some believe the astronauts encountered evidence of non-human activity, ancient ruins, machinery, even watchers observing them from a distance. After the Apollo missions ended, no human has set foot on the moon again. Despite new rockets, advanced AI, and trillions spent on space technology, we stopped going. Why? Maybe NASA found something and decided to look away. A whistleblower once described classified lunar photos showing massive rectangular towers and dome-like structures, unnaturally geometric, like a city buried in shadow. Those images? Never released to the public. Some call it Luna Base Alpha. Others say it's the remnants of something ancient, a civilization erased from time. But if that's true, the question isn't what the astronauts saw. It's who saw them. Because ever since 1969, unexplained signals have been detected coming from the far side of the moon. Pulses, mechanical sounds, even rhythmic patterns too structured to be random. NASA says it's interference. Others say it's communication. Whatever it is, that secret transmission marked the moment humanity realized the moon was not empty, and that maybe it never belonged to us. Chapter 4. The Lunar Mind Effect. For thousands of years, humans have felt it. The pull of the moon, not just on oceans, but on us. When the moon rises full and bright, something in human nature stirs. Wolves howl. Crime rates spike. Sleep patterns change. Emotions intensify. It's not folklore, it's measurable. Hospitals report higher cases of erratic behavior during full moons. Police records show unexplained surges in violence. Even birth rates increase slightly. Coincidence or connection? Science calls it gravitational influence. But some researchers whisper about something deeper, an electromagnetic bond between the moon and the human mind. Our brains run on electrical currents, soft, invisible pulses. What if the moon amplifies or disrupts them? In 2014, researchers at the University of Basel found that human sleep cycles sync subtly with the lunar phase, even in total darkness, with no visual cue of the moon outside. It's as if the body knows the moon is there. But ancient civilizations already understood this. The Babylonians, the Druids, the Egyptians. They all believed the moon could influence emotion, fertility, madness, and magic. The word lunatic literally means moonstruck. Some esoteric traditions even teach that the moon isn't just reflecting light. It's reflecting energy, a frequency that resonates with the subconscious mind. What if the moon acts as an amplifier, a receiver and transmitter for something far beyond human understanding? In classified military experiments during the Cold War, it's rumored that lunar radiation and radio frequencies were tested for mind control potential. The results? Still sealed. Certain frequencies recorded bouncing off the moon-matched brainwave patterns, alpha, theta, and delta waves. The same ones tied to dreaming, hypnosis, and deep emotion. Could the moon be subtly shaping our thoughts? Could it be tuning humanity like an instrument, adjusting us without our awareness? And then there's the spiritual angle. Mystics claim that during a full moon, the veil between worlds grows thin. Dreams become vivid. Intuition sharpens. People see things that aren't there. Maybe it's not imagination. Maybe it's reception. If the moon truly affects the mind, then whoever controls the moon controls consciousness. And if it's not natural, if it's a constructed device, then maybe it was built not just to watch us, but to influence us. The next time you can't sleep under a full moon, ask yourself, is it the beauty keeping you awake, or the signal? Chapter 5. Lost Missions and Missing Data. After the Apollo program ended in 1972, NASA made a decision that has puzzled scientists for decades. They stopped going to the moon. No more landings. No more exploration. Just silence. The official reason? Budget cuts. But that explanation doesn't fit. Because within a few years, NASA received more funding than ever, building new shuttles, satellites, and Mars projects. So why not return to the moon? The greatest discovery in human history? Something didn't add up. Then came the leaks. Whistleblowers, engineers, contractors who claimed that certain missions we were told never happened, actually did. Rumors began to spread about Apollo 18, 19, and 20. Officially canceled, but supposedly flown in secret. Their goal? To investigate something discovered during Apollo 17, a metallic anomaly beneath the surface. Years later, a video appeared online, grainy, shaky footage showing an astronaut entering what looked like an ancient craft embedded in the lunar dust. Inside, a humanoid figure. Preserved. Non-human. NASA dismissed it as a hoax. But the footage was traced to genuine mission hardware, and the coordinates matched a real lunar crater. Coincidence or cover-up? And then there's the missing data. In 2006, NASA officially admitted that the original Apollo 11 telemetry tapes, the ones containing the live data of humanity's first steps on the moon, were lost. Lost. Hundreds of reels of priceless information. Gone. The excuse? They were accidentally erased and reused to save money. Billions spent to reach the moon, yet they taped over the evidence? More documents vanished. High-resolution lunar photos. Mission logs. Samples miscatalogued or destroyed in storage. It was as if someone was erasing history, frame by frame. Former NASA archivist Ken Johnston later claimed he was ordered to destroy photos showing unnatural structures in the background of lunar images. He refused. He was dismissed. His files confiscated. Even astronaut Buzz Aldrin hinted at secrets, speaking cryptically of monoliths on Mars' moon Phobos, saying, "We should visit the people who put them there." Maybe he was speaking in code. Maybe not. So what really happened between 1972 and now? Maybe NASA didn't stop because of money, but because they were told to stop, told by someone, or something, that the moon was off limits. And so, for 50 years, humanity has stayed away. We built telescopes powerful enough to see galaxies billions of light years away. But we never turned them fully on the moon. Every photo released is filtered, cropped, desaturated. Every new mission is unmanned, robotic-controlled. Because maybe, just maybe, NASA isn't exploring the moon anymore. They're containing it. Chapter 6, The Alien Base on the Dark Side. They call it the dark side of the moon. But that's not accurate. It's not dark, it's just hidden. A hemisphere that never faces Earth, locked in perfect rotation, forever showing us the same familiar face while concealing the other. And that hidden side may hold humanity's greatest secret. For decades, radio astronomers noticed strange signals coming from behind the moon. Sharp bursts, metallic echoes, and rhythmic pulses. They didn't sound like natural radiation. They sounded like communication. In 1968, during Apollo 8's orbit around the far side, astronauts lost radio contact with Houston for 47 minutes. But when they returned to signal range, their private post-mission interviews revealed something chilling. They reported music-like sounds echoing through their comms. Unexplainable frequencies, almost melodic, almost alive. NASA classified the recordings for decades. When they were finally released, the official label read, "Space Noise." But sound engineers who analyzed it found harmonic structure, as if it was intelligently patterned. Later, lunar orbiter missions photographed strange anomalies on the far side. Massive rectangular formations, perfectly geometric shadows, and in one crater, what looked like a tower. Estimates suggest it could be several kilometers tall. NASA brushed it off as light distortion, but independent researchers using raw image data confirmed that the structure was there and consistent across multiple orbits. Then came China's Chang'e 4 mission, the first to land on the moon's far side. In 2019, their rover captured images that were quietly removed from public release. Leaked screenshots showed reflective domes, metallic panels, and what appeared to be landing tracks. Shortly after, Chinese space authorities went silent on the matter. Coincidence? Or cover-up? Part 2? Rumors began circulating inside aerospace circles about Luna Base 9, a supposed structure first detected in the 1970s by a classified U.S. satellite program. It was described as artificial, with corridors and energy readings unlike anything known to science. Some say it's alien. Others claim it's ancient, possibly built by a pre-human civilization that once colonized the moon long before us. But there's a third theory, the one NASA fears most, that after the Apollo missions, we didn't just find something there. We were warned. In a leaked transcript allegedly from Apollo 11, Armstrong's heart rate spiked when he looked across the crater rim. He reported seeing massive structures observing them. When Houston asked for confirmation, the reply was cryptic. They're here. They're watching us. Officially, NASA denies the transcript exists. Unofficially, multiple insiders confirm similar stories. Astronauts instructed never to speak about what they saw. Maybe that's why we never went back. Not because we couldn't, but because we weren't allowed to. The moon, our ancient companion, may not be a lifeless rock at all. It may be occupied. It may even be owned. And the ones who own it have been watching Earth since the beginning. Chapter 7. Ancient Civilizations and the Lunar Connection. Long before telescopes and satellites, the ancients watched the moon with awe and fear. They believed it was alive, a god, a watcher, a mirror between worlds. Every ancient civilization, from Sumer to Egypt, from the Maya to Greece, left records connecting the moon not just to time or tides, but to creation itself. The Sumerians called it Nana, the god of light and wisdom, son of Enlil, ruler of the sky. But in their texts, Nana wasn't born, he descended. His temple was built with white stones that glowed like the heavens, a description eerily similar to the lunar surface. The Egyptians called the moon Khonsu, the traveler, a being who sailed across the sky collecting souls. Some hieroglyphs show Khonsu standing beside Osiris, weighing human hearts, suggesting the moon was a portal for the afterlife. In Mesoamerica, the Aztecs told of the gods gathering in Teotihuacan to ignite the new sun. One deity refused to burn. Instead, he hid in the shadows. That god became the moon, the one who reflects but does not shine. To them, the moon symbolized a rejected power, hidden yet eternal. Even the Bible makes strange hints. In Genesis, it says, "The lesser light to rule the night." But rule over what exactly? Ancient Hebrew mystics interpreted that passage as literal, that the moon governs spirits, dreams, and unseen dimensions. Across every culture, one theme repeats. The moon isn't just a rock. It's a mechanism. Ancient Indian Vedas describe a silver chariot that circles Earth, carrying the spirits of the departed. Tibetan texts speak of the wheel of rebirth, a glowing sphere that recycles souls, a cosmic trap that keeps consciousness bound to Earth. And the Dogon tribe of Mali, long before modern science, spoke of beings called the Namo who came from a satellite that follows Earth. They claimed the Namo created the moon to stabilize the planet's rotation and monitor human evolution. How could an isolated African tribe know that the moon perfectly balances Earth's axial tilt? A fact proven only by modern astrophysics? Either it's coincidence or it's memory. The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. The ancients weren't just worshiping the moon. They were describing it, as if they knew what it really was. A vessel, a construct, a cosmic station designed to observe, control, or even recycle life itself. So when NASA looks at the moon with instruments and satellites, they're not just studying a celestial object. They're staring into humanity's oldest myth, and maybe its oldest prison. Chapter 8. The Frequency Experiment. In 1969, after Apollo 12 completed its mission, NASA decided to perform an experiment, one that would change everything we thought we knew about the moon. They intentionally crashed the lunar module's ascent stage into the surface. And what happened next was beyond belief. The moon rang. For nearly an hour, the seismic instruments placed by Apollo 11 recorded vibrations echoing through the lunar crust like a bell. NASA scientists were stunned. Natural rock shouldn't do that. When you strike solid stone, it shudders, then stops. But the moon kept vibrating as if it were hollow. The official statement from Dr. Clive Neal, a geologist with the Apollo program, was simple but chilling. It rang like a bell. Further tests during Apollo 13 confirmed it again. Another impact. Another echo. This time, the ringing lasted for over 3 hours. Some scientists suggested the moon had a dense core that caused the resonance. But later seismic readings showed the opposite. The interior seemed strangely uniform, less dense than expected, almost engineered. Even the crust was oddly specific, a perfect thickness to reflect seismic waves. Too perfect to be coincidence. Then came the sound frequencies. When those vibrations were analyzed, certain tones were discovered, harmonics that matched frequencies used in human-made resonance chambers. Frequencies that could manipulate energy, vibration, even thought. That's when theories began to form. Could the moon be a resonance device? A structure designed to vibrate, amplify, or even transmit? Ancient legends said the moon controlled emotions, dreams, and madness. Science now found it capable of broadcasting frequencies strong enough to influence energy fields. Coincidence? Or revelation? NASA quietly downplayed the findings. No more impact tests were conducted. No follow-up missions to probe the inner structure. Just silence. But leaked documents from the 1970s mention a project called Lunar Acoustic Resonance Study. Its goal? To determine if the moon could act as a natural antenna. The conclusion was classified, marked eyes only. If the moon is an antenna, then who built it? And who is it listening to? Perhaps that's why ancient cultures said the moon watches all. Maybe it doesn't just watch. Maybe it records. And if its frequency can affect emotion and thought, then the moon could be the most powerful psychological weapon ever created. The experiment that made the moon ring like a bell wasn't just a test. It was an accidental discovery, Proof that something beneath that surface is not natural. NASA control room filled with tension, scientists staring at seismic readings showing endless vibration patterns. Chapter 9. The Final Revelation. For decades, we were told the moon is nothing more than dust and silence. A cold, dead satellite circling Earth. But every clue, every leak, every lost piece of data says otherwise. The moon isn't silent. It vibrates. It watches. It remembers. From ancient gods to modern astronauts, from temples to telescopes, the story has always been there, hidden in plain sight. NASA's missing tapes, the lost missions, the far-side structures, the moon that rings like metal and echoes like an empty shell. Could all of it be coincidence? Or is it the pattern of a design older than our species? Maybe the moon didn't form beside Earth. Maybe it arrived. Scientists have long puzzled over the moon's perfect orbit. Its size, its distance, its gravitational balance, all mathematically precise. Too perfect to be an accident, like it was placed. Ancient texts say it appeared suddenly in the sky, long after the first humans walked the Earth. Some tribes even have oral histories of a time before the moon existed. They say nights were darker, and the stars shone differently. So what if the moon isn't a natural companion, but a constructed one? A machine, a watcher, a tool designed to observe humanity or contain it. The lunar frequency experiments proved it resonates like a giant transmitter. The myths suggest it governs dreams and rebirth, and modern agencies guard its secrets more tightly than any military base on Earth. Why? Because whoever controls the moon controls the signal. Maybe that signal shapes thought. Maybe it influences emotion. Maybe it keeps humanity asleep, trapped in a repeating cycle of forgetfulness and rebirth. And if that's true, the moon isn't just a satellite. It's a system built to keep something or someone under control. Maybe that's why we've never truly left orbit. Maybe that's why the stars feel out of reach. Because until we understand what the moon really is, we may never be free of it. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember this. The moon is watching, listening, echoing, and perhaps somewhere behind that glowing face, something is watching back. Thank you for watching Dark Truth. For centuries, we've looked up at the moon, believing it was ours. But maybe, just maybe, it's been watching us the whole time. The signals NASA never explained. The structures they cropped out of photos. The astronauts who came back changed but never spoke. So I'll ask you this. If the moon isn't what they told us it is, then who put it there? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because one day soon, we might learn the truth, and it won't be from NASA. The Dark Truth continues.